Father's Day war between members of the British royal family belies a much wider feud with King Charles and Prince William at each other's throats. But Meghan Markle posted these bizarre new images, having seen this tribute from Princess Charlotte and the children to our future king, Prince William. They posted, "Happy birthday and Father's Day to the best papa in the world. We love you very much. C, G, C, and L." Very lovely personal message from Catherine and the children. But of course, Meghan saw that and immediately thought, I can do much better with my creepy version. My photoshopped image, which is going to show Harry looking really cool and laid back. And I know I'm going to pitch my new business as part of this too. As she wrote, "They're so lucky to have you. We are all. Happy Father's Day to our one and only." At the same time, there was a sort of underlying message of he's coming home, as in the family is coming home, given Archie was wearing an England football jersey. Not the official one, though, and I'll come to that in just one moment. There's a reason behind it, but Long Sally, a.k.a. Sue Smith, said, "For the love of God, another picture of the back of the heads of children that was obviously taken years ago due to the change in size. Does she not realise how crazy she looks?" Well, she doesn't care, does she? Because there is merch to sell. And this time, it was Zara. Meghan decided to use Father's Day and Prince George, who is in the British line of succession, to merch Zara. But let's be honest, there was a serious dose of weirdness to the picture itself. And a rod revealing the front part of Archie's toe is on the sole of his foot. How is that possible? Patsy pointing out, "I'm more concerned about the boy's right heel jutting out like that. Surely that's not normal because it's huge. Does he need special shoes made?" And then Anna, this is the one. This is the one that I realised straight away. They even drew in some hair for Harry. And can you blame him? I guess you would ask. But look, the net is closing in. And we know that Meghan Markle knows she can't keep this up much longer, which is why she is planning this photo opportunity with, ideally, the King and Queen later next month in the United Kingdom. Because Milo Yiannopoulos is totally all over this now, writing, "I spent a weekend on this and I am completely convinced, A, they've used multiple different children in photos, B, at least one pregnancy was via surrogate, making the child ineligible for the line of succession, C, she wore a moon bump or other fake pregnancy tummy." But when it comes to Father's Day, there's a lot to pick up on, isn't there? Because the mainstream media in the United Kingdom is absolutely hell-bent on using this emotional blackmail line to try and reunite Prince Harry and King Charles in some way. Yet there's absolutely no thought. Have you noticed this? Not one thought on Father's Day for Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, a very good man who in the past few months has lost his leg. It was up to Meghan's mole to point this out to the New York Post. What about Thomas Markle Sr.? Happy Father's Day to the man who gave Meghan Markle everything until she married Harry and started abusing Charles. And then, quite helpfully, Meghan's mole reminded us of what Meghan Markle posted herself to her dad. "Happy Father's Day, Daddy." This is before she met Harry, of course. "I'm still your buckaroo. And to this day, your hugs are still the very best in the whole wide world. Thanks for my work ethic, my love of Busby Berkeley films and club sandwiches, for teaching me the importance of handwritten thank you notes, and for giving me that signature Markle nose. I love you. XO Bean." So before we all just go totally mad for the idea that Harry just must introduce his grandchildren to the King of England, what about Thomas Markle, who is down the road in the USA? Watch. If you value the whole truth and nothing but the truth on these royal stories, make sure you subscribe to Outspoken right now. It allows me to work outside of the MSM and the Royal Rota.
And right now we're in Beverly Hills, and we're going to pass the Beverly Hilton Hotel, where I'll be on Sunday meeting the other Northwestern.
We need more men like that. Just as we need more men like my father, who championed my 11-year-old self to stand up for what is right. Just as we need more men like my father, who championed my 11-year-old self to stand up for what is right.
As Queen Esther put it, it's remarkable how every royal journalist seems determined to write the same Harry and Charles reconciliation story on an endless loop. Every article is about healing, forgiveness, family reunions, olive branches, and restoring ties with the royal family. But where are those headlines about Thomas Markle? Meghan spent years telling the world what a wonderful father he was. She praised his sacrifices, credited him for her opportunities, and held him up as an example of parental devotion. Then the moment he became inconvenient, he was erased from the narrative. Thomas is elderly, has suffered serious health setbacks, and has spent years publicly expressing the hope that he might one day hear from his daughter again. Yet the media's obsession with reconciliation never seems to extend in his direction. If Harry and Meghan truly believe family relationships are worth repairing, perhaps they could start with the father Meghan once couldn't stop praising instead of continually demanding access to everyone else's family. The endless lectures about compassion, forgiveness, and reconciliation would carry a lot more weight if they were practiced at home first. Funny how family is everything only seems to matter when the family happens to be royal. And there is proof of that, by the way, because Althorpe, that is the resting place of Princess Diana, closed on July the 10th and 11th. It seems almost inevitable now that Meghan and Harry will also do some type of stunt at Diana's resting place, with, according to Taz, revealing if the kids do come, then this is the real reason why they want footage and photos of their children at Althorpe and at Diana's grave. Harry will play the introducing them to their grandmother card, but it will be content for the Diana documentary they are working on. So P. Dinah Royal YouTube sensation is with me now, and there's a huge amount to pick up on over the weekend, P. Dinah. But firstly, can we just talk about how transparent Meghan was? Did you notice she waited, P. Dinah, until Catherine had posted her tribute to William on what was also his birthday, of course, and at the same time thought, oh, I know, it's a formal photo of William, so I'm going to do something really informal to try and make him look stupid in some way, like him look rigid, while Harry looks like a man of the people. But at the same time, P. Dinah, the photo, once again, totally filled with flaws.
Yeah. You know, it's really sad because it doesn't become about the father. It doesn't become about your children. Meghan uses her loved ones, supposed loved ones, to play games and to manipulate and to try to one up someone. And she doesn't have these authentic things about her that would make her somewhat likable, but she uses it to really take a dig at her supposed enemies. And it's almost like, why can't you just be someone that is about the right thing? Why does everything you do have to be a manipulation? It has to be a strategy, some kind of false telling of, whatever it is that you're thinking in your head to one up somebody. It just becomes sad at this point that you don't have your children, or you're not using your children in a way that is in a loving way. You're using them to manipulate and to do really devious things that are just not necessary. It just shows what a not nice person Meghan really truly is at the heart of it. It's sickening. It's disgusting. I just couldn't imagine using my children like this. I don't understand this woman. She's got some very devious and deceptive ways about her that should be very concerning, especially when you involve your children into that whole deception. It's wrong.
And especially, P. Dinah, now that we know Althorpe is clearly going to be one of the locations used for this introductory visit. And it's so sad that we don't trust Harry not to use his mother's resting place now for terrible PR stunts. But you can understand that that is very much how William and Catherine feel.
Yeah, and I think this is why they are so cautious of Meghan, because she will do things that are just completely crazy. And I mean, imagine going to use the grave site of, your mother-in-law to make money, to have your children be there for some photo op to sell, what it is that you're doing. I mean, William, I'm sure, is beside himself. I mean, how do you navigate this on a public stage if you're someone like William, trying to do the right thing, but then you have this family member along with your brother who are doing everything they can to just take a dig and to do things that you don't like, that you don't approve of. I mean, but yet he has to still publicly go out there and do his work and navigate all of this behind the scenes. I can imagine it is a lot for him to deal with. Unnecessary and completely just off the charts crazy. Dan, I feel for William and Catherine and all that they have to go through.
But P. Dinah, things have broken down within the British royal family because it's like there's civil war upon civil war. Tom Sykes has described it over the weekend as chaos in the King's Court. My former newspaper, The Sun, when I was there, we came up with the legendary front page Megxit to accompany my scoop about Harry and Meghan quitting. But they have now, P. Dinah, come up with a reversal front page, Meg's in. And that is because of the fact that Charles is going to be offering Harry and Meghan this use of a palace during their return this summer. And so it was left to Charlotte Griffiths in the Mail on Sunday over the weekend. Now, Charlotte Griffiths is an interesting one, given her relationship with Prince Harry that emerged recently. But it was left to Charlotte to reveal that William and Charles are not in a good place, with royal insiders telling her that the King's olive branch to Harry has led to froid with William and Kate, and William had this very extreme reaction to chat about his brother. So let me take you through this, P. Dinah. Charlotte Griffiths reports the prospect of Charles reconciling with his younger son may have had the unfortunate side effect of souring his relationship with his elder, I can reveal. Royal insiders this weekend claimed that the King's willingness to extend an olive branch to Harry has led to an increase in long simmering tensions with William, who is in no mood to forgive his brother. The King's relationship with William is not in a good place, one well-connected source told me. They are at a very low ebb. Rumours of tension between the King and William have been fueled by what some insiders claimed was a froid during Trooping the Colour last weekend. The MOS understands that just a few hours before the event marking the King's official birthday, William learned that Meghan would be coming to the UK with Harry. The Prince of Wales is said to believe his father is making a misjudgment in making efforts to rebuild a relationship with Harry, sources say. In contrast, William shows no signs of wanting to forgive his brother for the damaging claims he made in his memoir Spare and in a bombshell Oprah Winfrey interview in which he accused an unnamed royal of racism. William has allegedly barred any mention of his brother in his presence, with insiders saying he remains unwilling to even contemplate a reconciliation. The siblings are believed to have not spoken to each other since the late Queen's funeral in 2022. But this is where things get very interesting. Some sources said that Princess Catherine, who usually maintains a flawless smile at high-profile events, appeared visibly tense during last Saturday's pageantry. Reports noted that her usual warmth and composure faltered, and she seemed reluctant to smile and wave for the cameras from her horse-drawn carriage. At the time, and certainly this is what I believe it was about, this was put down to her having to face a barrage of jeers from anti-monarchy protesters. But sources claim that was not the full story. One insider said Queen Camilla, King Charles, and the Princess of Wales were not outwardly warm together that day, and the reason was not just the protesters. Relations were decidedly frosty backstage. Another source said so much of what they do is performative, but there was little performance on display that day. So, P. Dinah, this is interesting reporting, coming from Charlotte Griffiths, no less, the woman who Harry used to call G-string. But at the very least, P. Dinah, I think there is an acknowledgement that things are not great between William and Charles over this decision. Now, we'll come to the fact that William's own court seems to be very divided on the whole issue of whether Harry should be allowed to come whatsoever, about whether Harry should be offered a palace. But there is now multiple sourcing, P. Dinah, suggesting that William...
How many times are we expected to hear the same story? Every month, another headline appears telling us that Prince Harry and King Charles are on the verge of reconciliation. Every month, we hear about olive branches, healing, forgiveness, and family unity. The media treats it as though it is the most important family reunion in the world. But there is one glaring problem with this narrative. The people demanding compassion from everyone else rarely seem willing to show it themselves. Father's Day provided the latest example. Prince William received a heartfelt public tribute from Catherine and their children. It was simple, personal, and focused entirely on celebrating a father. Then came the Sussex response. Rather than feeling like a private family moment, it immediately sparked discussion about image management, branding, and publicity. Critics have long argued that almost every public appearance, photograph, or social media post involving Harry and Meghan serves a strategic purpose. Whether promoting projects, maintaining relevance, or shaping public perception, nothing appears accidental. That is precisely why so many people have become skeptical. The issue is no longer whether Harry and Meghan share family photographs. The issue is whether those moments are genuine expressions of family life or carefully crafted public relations exercises. What makes this situation even more frustrating for many observers is the constant demand for reconciliation with the royal family, while another reconciliation remains completely ignored: Thomas Markle. Before Meghan became a duchess, she spoke warmly about her father. She praised his sacrifices. She credited him with helping her succeed. She described him as a loving parent who supported her ambitions and encouraged her dreams. Those comments were public. They were repeated often. Yet today, the father who was once celebrated has seemingly disappeared from the story. While newspapers run endless articles about Harry seeing Charles, introducing children to royal relatives, and rebuilding bridges with the monarchy, very little attention is paid to Meghan's own relationship with her father. Why? If family is important, shouldn't all family matter? If forgiveness is a virtue, shouldn't it be practiced consistently? If reconciliation deserves applause, shouldn't it begin at home? These questions are uncomfortable because they expose what many people see as a double standard. The public is constantly told that the royal family should forgive. The public is constantly told that Charles should reconcile. The public is constantly told that William should move on. But where is the pressure on Harry and Meghan to demonstrate those same values in their own lives? The reality is that actions matter more than speeches. Over the years, Harry and Meghan have built much of their public identity around themes of compassion, kindness, healing, and understanding. Those are admirable values. The problem is that critics increasingly see a gap between the message and the reality. People notice when forgiveness is demanded but not offered. People notice when family unity is celebrated selectively. People notice when principles appear to only apply when they are politically or commercially convenient. This is one reason why public trust has eroded. Another reason is the continuing attacks on the institution from which Harry and Meghan still derive much of their public relevance. They left royal duties. They criticized the monarchy in interviews, documentaries, books, and media appearances. They accused family members of wrongdoing. They exposed private conversations. They turned personal grievances into global headlines. Then, after years of public criticism, there are now reports suggesting a desire for renewed access, renewed connections, and renewed proximity to the institution they condemned. Many people look at that sequence of events and ask a simple question: why? If the institution was so damaging, why return? If royal life was so unbearable, why seek continued association with it? If independence was the goal, why do every major project continue to depend on royal connections? These questions are not unreasonable. In fact, they go to the heart of why so many members of the public remain skeptical. The concern is not reconciliation itself. Most people support families finding peace. Most people would welcome
The
genuine
concern
healing.
is whether reconciliation is being pursued for personal reasons or for public relations value. That distinction matters, because if reconciliation is sincere, it should happen privately. It should not require headlines. It should not require leaks. It should not require carefully managed publicity campaigns. And it certainly should not require public pressure placed on family members who may still be dealing with deep personal hurt. Prince William's reported reluctance to reconcile is often portrayed as stubbornness, but many people see it differently. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. Family relationships can survive disagreements. They can survive distance. They can even survive years of silence. What they struggle to survive is betrayal. Whether one agrees with Harry's actions or not, it is impossible to deny that private family matters became public on a massive scale. That reality has consequences. The result is a royal family that appears divided, a public that remains skeptical, and a media landscape obsessed with forcing a reconciliation story that may not reflect reality. At some point, perhaps the conversation needs to change. Instead of asking why everyone else will not forgive Harry and Meghan, perhaps we should ask whether Harry and Meghan have demonstrated the same willingness to forgive others. Instead of demanding reconciliation from the royal family, perhaps attention should be given to relationships closer to home. And instead of lecturing the world about compassion, perhaps the most powerful statement would be quietly practicing it. Because genuine family values are not measured by interviews, documentaries, social media posts, or public campaigns. They are measured by actions. And that is where many critics believe the Sussexes continue to